Hi Pottery peeps. So I have a luster kiln to unload. I don't have very much in it, but I have the Tree of Life urn. She is finally finished. Had a moment of panic. I panicked along this whole making of this the making of the urn. Some of you who have been following along know that Sorsha over here misfired, or she threw an error because it was taking too long to ramp up due to our cold temperatures here. And I did end up firing it again in my older kiln, which is a Cress kiln sitter. We call her Bad Morta. Anyway, so we had the big winter storm come through. I didn't even think about it. I know that luster firing is usually a 4-hour firing. It only gets up to 1280, 1300 degrees, somewhere in, I fire it in 019, so somewhere in there. So I know that luster fires don't normally take too long, but I didn't, I was really, really close. I didn't turn it on until midnight because that's usually when I turn it on. It's usually when I'm finally done doing what I needed to. And woke up at 4 in the morning. My husband has sleep apnea and his sleep machine went off, which woke him right up. And power was off. The storm had blown out the power. So of course, what do? I had to run out here. Well, not run. I hobbled out here. By the way, one of you guys commented, and I can't find the comment. It was back in December, I believe, that I am now the hobbling potter of Hobble Creek. So that's just brilliant, super creative, and my son-in-law is super upset with himself. He's the master of puns, and he's upset with himself for not thinking of it sooner. So kudos to whoever you were that made that comment. Anyway, so I came out here and it had released and shut off, but still I didn't know if it was because of the power or because it reached temp and the cone. So stressed most of the day until I could actually get in here and peek and see what happened. So you gotta look at this. So I added the phases of the moon in gold and it turned out just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I can't wait to show it to Wendy. Okay, so I will put up pictures, nice pictures. So that's what it's like with the top. So there's the top. I will put up nice pictures at the end of the video if you want to stick around for that. So I've got a couple of other things in here because I tried to fill it up big time, but needed to fire that and didn't have a lot of stuff. This is actually Nightcraft Co. Mickey. She sculpts these moons for incense burners, and she's lustered them. That's why it's coming off so super shiny in the camera. And sorry I don't have you looking over the kiln, but I've got a lot of light coming in that door, bouncing up off all of our snow, and it was just blinding, so I had to do it this direction. But yeah, these really, you can fire it that way, it smokes, or fire it to where it smokes and goes up the top. So, and it's all been mother of pearl. And you can fire mother of pearl and gold lusters in the same kiln. In fact, a lot of your overglazed decals, the commercial ones, you can sometimes, you can sometimes put them in the same firing. So she also makes, Nightcraft Co. also makes these really cool geo dishes, crystal dishes. And she's mother of pearl the crystals that she's hand carved. So really cute. I think these are actually incense burners too, that you can actually wedge like one of those long incense sticks in these. And then I gotta save the best. Well, I already showed you the best. The second best is in here. But I went ahead and fired my trees that I carved at Christmas. This is the shadow, or the spruce blue from Clayscapes, and I put gold in just the little dots that I had put in there. So yeah, really like the little added pop of the gold. And then I've got the dragon flasks in here. I already gushed. Oh my goodness, look at these! Didn't that turn out so cool? And this is the Nebula with Clayscapes, and Nebula likes a cone 6, even a hot cone 6. If you'll notice, there's a bunch of crystal growth, microcrystals. See if I can get the light. There you go, on that one side. This glaze is one of my favorite glazes, but if you fire it at cone 5, it's ugly. It's just this gray matte concrete looking color, but at a cone 6, you get this. So I knew the gold on the eyes would just pop. How cool are these? Oh, just love them. I think one's gonna be a flask and one's gonna be a soap dispenser because, come on, you know, we want cool soap dispensers. Plus they won't take up a lot of room in small bathrooms because they're not big and round. So, very cool. All right, so I will also put pictures. The trees in this light come off kind of a sagey green, gray-green. It's not really pretty. That's actually not their color. It's just getting some bad lighting. So I'm going to take some pictures of these too so you can see them in better lighting. And for those of you who want to stay for story time, I have a story that's a big part of my pottery journey. So I'm going to actually go where it's warm. It's freezing out here. I'm going to go into the studio. I'll take you with me, of course. Had to quickly show you what that storm left us with. The really nice thing is that it's covered up all the work in my flower beds. I love snow for that. Okay, welcome to story time. So, I've had this on my mind a lot lately, and I actually reached out to the very first person, or the mother of the person that the very first urn that I made, because that urn changed my whole life. I don't think she actually knows how much it actually meant to me. She had reached out to the community. She needed an urn for a baby that she had lost. And I was recommended. And so she contacted me. Some of you know that my full-time job, and I mean full-time, like 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, full-time job, was an author. I'm the author, I don't know, 25, 30 books, something like that. And I hit the USA Today back 2007, 2008, somewhere around. Actually, no, I think maybe it was 2013. I don't know. Those years are a blur. So when I hit the USA Today, there was a lot of pressure put on me to produce, to just pump out the books, you know. And I ended up spending, like I said, 18 hours a day, sometimes in front of a computer. I almost have PTSD where I hate getting on the computer, which I'm really glad that I bought a tablet to film videos. It's so much more fun to work on a tablet than it is a laptop. Anyway, so I hardly ever get on my computer anymore because I seriously have PTSD. Anyway, back to the story. That was where I was in my frame of mind, okay? I was really depressed, really stressed, really overwhelmed. Probably the darkest I'd ever been. And this woman reached out to me. And the first thought in my head was, how am I going to do that? And then, how do I not do that? And my daughter was 9 months pregnant. She was actually due to have her baby in 10 days. And so I had to look up the size requirement for a baby, all right? So we talked about size requirements for an adult. So this one for Wendy, this is another reason why this urn has touched me so much, making it for her. And I am just so, I gotta keep it together. Okay, anyway, it's meant so much to me. Even though I made this urn in another really, really hard time of my life. I mean, 3 knee replacements in 8 months. And I was in between knee replacements. So when Wendy contacted me, I think I was 4 weeks out of the first one, and 2 weeks into the next one. I had like 2 weeks. Actually, I had less than 2 weeks. Well, I had everything else I had to do too, because I'm running a full studio. Anyway, so I had to make that really fast, a lot faster than I normally would. And the baby urn that I made, I had to make really fast too. Anyway, back to the baby urn. My daughter was pregnant with my first grandson or grandchild. And I was just gutted that this poor woman had gone through this. And I've had 4 children. I know what it's like to have a child and to carry a child. And it's just, to me, anything happening to my kids, it's just the worst nightmare ever. So I made this urn. I had to do the research and look up the urns. And she had shown me kind of what she was looking for. And she was on Etsy looking for pet urns. Because that would be the size. And the place was charging her like $125. And this is kind of the size that I made. I made this container at the same time because when I make a container, when I'm trying to adjust for size and everything, I make more than one, especially if I haven't made it before. But this is the size, and she wanted it similar to this. And I actually reached out to her today and asked her if it was okay if I shared this story. And I'm going to share her picture of where the urn resides now, that she had sent me. Anyway, this is the size of the urn. This is Wendy's size. And even this is almost too small, but we've got the companion urn that's going to go to her daughter. This is that. Did I ever show you the finished one of this? We refired this too, and it came out much, much better. The lavender mist is lavender and misty now, and before it was brown and yucky. So yeah, this turned out really good. So I'm really happy. I'm just thrilled with both of them. But so I made the urn. Her name is Cami, and I made the urn. And when I met to give it to her, she brought her family. I got to meet her husband and her the children that she had. And I was just so grateful she had children, because I know that it had to make it easier. I'm so glad it wasn't her first child. And when I gave it to her and she wanted to know how much she owed me, there's no way in the world I could take money for this. For this, it's a simple cylinder, you know. And plus my daughter was having a baby. Like I said, I was just gutted. And so I said, there's no charge for this. And I have made it, I run my own business. I can make these decisions. I have made it company policy for Hobble Creek Pottery. Baby urns, I don't charge for baby urns. I have since done 3 others since then, but I do not charge for baby urns. I just can't. Come on. I mean, you that are potters, you know. I mean, anyway, so I'm not going to charge Wendy either. So I just can't. I've made a connection with this woman. She let me film it. You guys are watching it. And you guys are amazing. You've allowed this channel has grown really fast, even considering the hobbling potter. So, and everybody's learning and from the tutorials, and I was able to monetize the channel back in October. And so anything I get from the YouTube channel is you guys are helping. You're part of this too now. So thank you. We both really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so, back to, oh my goodness. I am just so, squirrel. Anyway, so when I gave that family the urn and they cried and they hugged me and I cried, I went home and opened up my computer it was on deadline, opened up my computer. And it's like, what am I doing? This is not bringing me joy. Pottery brings me joy. And so I had to finish that book, and I had to finish one other. But after I finished that commitment, I basically quit. I still got my toe in the writing, and I probably will get back to it once I get over my fear of my laptop. Leave the link in the description if anybody wants to check them out. They are romantic suspense, romantic thrillers, paranormal, that kind of thing. So can be a little sexy. Also, I like to kill people in print. Okay. I have a very active imagination. Anyway, so I quit, and I decided to put all my creativity and all my energy into pottery. Now, I've done pottery since 1983. That's when I got started. But my life has changed so much. My grandson is 4. He turned 4 in December, and this happened all in December 4 years ago. And I just, the life I have now, minus the knees, okay, let's just get those, let's try to forget about those. Minus the knees, I used to be in a room in the basement that was a utility room that had a drop ceiling and no windows. Before that, I was in that cold garage with those kilns. But I was in the basement for about 10 years or so, and I got contacted pretty quick from McKay, who was Pottery by Mac, who was also struggling with her job. And she says she knew I did pottery. She'd been out here before. I had known her. And she says, I really want to take lessons. And by then, I guess this was the summer. So I had finished the book, and my husband knew how unhappy I was. And he knew I wanted to go back to Alaska really, really bad. And so I'm thinking the cogs in his head were churning, trying to figure out how am I going to keep her here, because she's going home. And I was headed home that summer, and she's not going to come back. And so he said, let's build you a studio. And my husband was a contractor when we were first married. Not a contractor. He was a grunt worker. He did contracting. Okay, not a contractor. That would have been nice though. I love men with skills. You know what I mean? All right. So he can build it. I mean, he did when we were raising our kids. He went back to school in his 30s into computers. But when we were raising our kids, he built houses. And so, yeah, the whole idea that I could have my own studio, I could get out of the basement, you know, the dark, you know, airless, you know, basement. And so we started planning and building the studio, and we had it all erected and everything that summer when McKay called me, and she says, I really need to take lessons from you. And I said, I'm not set up for lessons. And I said, I still stuck down, and I don't know when the studio is going to be done. And she goes, I don't care. And I said, well, if you're willing to come over and look at it, so you know what you're in for. So she came over and looked at it and signed up right then. And she's never left. That was 4 years ago. Over 4 years ago. Yeah. So, and then it was just like a week later, someone else had recommended me, and it was this sweet girl, Avery. Shout out to my girl, Avery. She is Boho Pottery on Instagram. She is in Snowflake, Arizona now, thanks to COVID. Otherwise, she'd still be here. Anyway, so Avery came over and looked at it too, and she said, yeah, sign me up. And I had the wheels. I had extra wheels. And so I started teaching, and the studio wasn't done. And I was teaching, and I was having a ball. Just life just got brighter and brighter every day. And then, you know, we got the studio done, and more students and more people, and just creating, we're just connecting through creativity. And I just love it. I love my life. I love waking up in the morning, and the very first thought is, I get to go to the studio, and what am I going to make today? You know, and that wouldn't happen without Cammie asking me to make a simple little cylinder for her baby. And so much thanks goes out to Cammie, because she really changed my life, and her little girl, Sammy Jo. And I just am grateful every day. So And then being able to make something like this for Wendy, again, honored and grateful. So you never know where your pottery journey is going to take you. Or, and it wasn't a good, people weren't happy that I quit writing. In fact, I have I've gotten hate mail because I wrote a 7 books in a series, and the 8th one hasn't been published yet, and it's half written, but I'm not interested, so not yet. Someday, who knows? Can never say, what's gonna happen. So one of these days, but for now, I love my life, other than the knees, but I have the best life. I'm happy. My mental health is great. I've never had better mental health. So those of you that struggle to, I know you know what I mean about the difference of, if you can get into the studio, what it does for you. It's like your soul just sings. Even if everything fails, it's just the process. Pottery is so good. If you have someone struggling, drag them to the studio. Get some clay, make it on your dining room table, and do what you can. I started with everything used. The only thing other than these 2 wheels that I bought new last year, and Sorsha, my Scott kiln in there, which was bought 18 months ago, and everything that's in this studio is all recycled. It's all somebody else's. Everything was used. You can find used stuff. My Crest kiln in there, she's over 40. She's used. She's had her guts replaced, but she's used. She's brand new, basically, on the inside. She's beautiful. Anyway, so don't, there's a way. You can find a way, those of you that are struggling. And hand building is a great way. It doesn't take any equipment to hand build. But if this is your dream, go for it. I did it. And my biggest fear is I'm going to die before I get to try everything I want to do in pottery. So as soon as, once I head over, the bridge, or through the pearly gates, fingers crossed, I'm getting in that reincarnation line and signing up for pottery again. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling on. This is a first. I've never sat in front of a camera and kind of spilled my guts. So, but I would love to hear your stories, how pottery feeds your soul. And if you've ever experienced something like I did, just when I handed that urn over to Cami, it's like the heavens opened up and shone down on me. And it's like, kind of yelled at me. It's like, get your butt into the studio. This is what you're supposed to do. And you know what? I'm so glad I listened. I hope you have a great day. Today is February 23rd, and Glacier Con is going on, so I'm going to go see what's going on. All right. If you haven't checked out Glacier Con, do it. There's a wealth of knowledge over there, but you might spend a lot of money. I'm trying to be really careful about that this time. All right, we'll see you in the next one.